here I am. I'm off to the supermarket. I know there are long lines, so I am dressed for it. Sige na, mauna na po kayo. Next na lang po ako. Social distancing in the elevator, so there's already somebody in there going down, so I'm gonna wait until the next elevator, or I should take the stairs. So this is the grocery that I come to every week. This is the first time I've been here since quarantine started. Parking is now free, but I know, well, I'm expecting a line. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Noelle, and today I am joining you from my tiny balcony at home. We are closing in on the end of week 2 of enhanced community quarantine here in Metro Manila. Yay! So we have about 2 weeks more to expect, although given how the COVID-19 situation has developed here in the Philippines, I wouldn't be surprised if they announce a 2-week extension beyond the supposed ending of community quarantine. So that means that for many people that you follow on social media who provide you triathlon tips, running tips, and other inspirational content, well, our content creation has been disrupted. This is not a normal occurrence in the world. It's a global concern. It's not something that people should be taking lightly. And I'm sure your feeds are already inundated with all sorts of other more useful articles and posts, etc. I don't really know how things are going to look for the blog or the vlog, and I honestly don't have the energy to write things down, as I mentioned in last week's vlog. So I'm just here gonna talk to you straight to the camera. I will probably cut out some parts, like for instance if the trucks next door start gunning their engines, then I'll probably cut that out, but for the most part this is gonna come at you unfiltered. I think personally I come from a privileged situation where I can stay at home. I have my family with me. I have enough money in the bank to tide me over because I don't really have to work at an office. I work from home, and so I'm able to continue working. So many other Filipinos aren't as privileged as that, and apart from the heaviness that this entire situation has brought down upon us, there's also this feeling that I can do more. And I started thinking of ways in which, you know, I can use the blessings that I have to reach out and help those who are in need at this time. And so I haven't been very organized about it. It's just that whenever I saw a donation drive or something come across my feed, I would think about it, and if I felt good about it, I would donate some amount to it. So here are the places that I've donated to so far. First of all is Cloud Eats. Now they're what they call themselves a cloud kitchen, so you can basically order from their website, and then they'll send the order to a kitchen that they're affiliated with, and then they make it up for you, and then they send it to you via parcel or courier service. Now obviously in this case a lot of the restaurants and kitchens are shut down because they're keeping a skeleton crew, but Cloud Eats has opened this capacity where you can donate, or you can order food pack, and they're gonna make it up and they're going to deliver it to frontliners, to healthcare workers and other people who are working in the hospital, so that they don't have to think about where they're going to get their food, or what they're going to cook or bring to work, that sort of thing. And so I donated a bit to Cloud Eats. I will leave links in the description box to these places where you can also share your blessings and donate. Another place where I put my resources to use is the Kaya Natin Movement's donation drive or fundraising drive to provide personal protective equipment to healthcare workers and other frontliners. To date, this Kaya Natin movement, which is working with the Office of the Vice President, has raised 30 million pesos or more actually to help purchase these PPEs and bring them to the people who desperately need them in our healthcare settings. So I don't know if you're keeping up to date on this. Depending on your mental state, you might be kind of shielding yourself from the news, or if you're hypervigilant like me, you're constantly tuned in and looking at all of the information available. In any case, our healthcare workers, they desperately need PPE. There's a global shortage, but there are some suppliers who are still selling, and so the Kaya Natin movement is sourcing from these suppliers. They're trying to bring together the logistics so that you can bring PPEs to our healthcare workers, because there is a disproportionately large number of doctors and other healthcare workers who have fallen sick or have even passed away because of COVID-19. So yeah, they need the PPE. And if you have the resources to help send them the PPE, then go for it. I also want to shout out to all of the other companies who have done their parts. Like, for instance, I know Ligo Sardines, which is a Philippine-owned brand, have donated their entire advertising budget towards funding relief and other assistance efforts for health workers, etc. And I think there are other companies that have also donated their advertising budgets, Coca-Cola being one of them. I mean, not like Coca-Cola needs to advertise still, but it's a good thing that they've done that, because nobody's really watching commercials anymore because yeah, imagine you were in a disaster movie. Would you be looking at commercials and thinking, yeah, a nice cold drink of Coca-Cola would be just what I need right now? Yeah, so it makes sense, right? If you're also still looking for other ways to help, there are a group of people who started aggregating all of these calls for help and put them into a website. It's called helpfromhome.ph. I will put the link in the description box, and you can take a look at where you can actually offer your help. A lot of these services have funding links through like ticket services like Ticket to Me. The Kaya Natin movement used that, or you can also use online banking like BDO and BPI apps, etc. GCash, Paymaya, even Lazada. The shopping portals, they have Lazada Pay and Grab Pay, and you can fund those efforts using these payment platforms. So check it out, see where you can help. I think this impulse of feeling like you want to help is because there is a general feeling of helplessness. Like, I kind of regret actually not studying to become a doctor. Both my parents are doctors, and my grandfather really wanted me to become a doctor, but at the last minute, when I was writing up my college applications, I decided I wanted to go into the arts. I wanted to become a journalist, I wanted to become a writer, or I wanted to become a lawyer. And so yeah, no science track whatsoever. And now you just realize that doctors and other healthcare workers are the backbone of society's health. And if you don't have them, then you're really just bringing a knife to a gunfight. And so I've been feeling generally helpless, and I figure that if I just share my resources, then maybe these will go to the people who can really make a difference. I have spoken about feeling kind of, whoops, do not touch your face. I have spoken about feeling tired and helpless, and a heavy feeling. And I was browsing through a lot of the stuff being produced about the mental state during these times, and according to David Kessler, who's a global expert on grief, we are actually feeling this feeling is actually grief. It's mourning for things that we have irrevocably lost. Like when the world changed after 9/11, like airports started stepping up their security theater, so no liquids greater than 100 ml, shoes off, they go into the metal detectors, etc., that sort of thing. Whereas previously, you could go into the airport, see off your friends and loved ones right at the gate before they entered the plane, and after 9/11 that couldn't happen anymore. And in this case, there's that same loss of innocence, I guess, which we can never go back from, because now we know that the next deadly contagion might be just around the corner if we're not careful. So yeah, people are gonna start keeping more distance from each other. There's that loss of community connection as well, because you can't really gather as innocently as you could have before this all happened, because now everybody at a party is a suspect. And as seen in this week's case of How Dumb Are You, where a senator of the Republic was, he was suspicious that he had COVID, so he had himself tested, but before the test results came back, he went out and partied, he went to a supermarket, and probably spread the virus out, because he did come back positive, and he even came to a hospital delivery room trying to get his wife an elective surgery because she was pregnant and they wanted the baby out. But then it's like you made everyone in that area persons under investigation. They have to self-quarantine, and to lose doctors and nurses and other healthcare workers for 14 days, it's a huge blow to a hospital's capacity to take care of its patients. Everybody's a suspect now, and so there's a loss of normalcy, like I said, a loss of innocence. And then of course, I've already spoken about the economic toll that this is taking on a lot of people, and that's gonna weigh more heavily on the minds of people who earn their wages daily, who live a hand-to-mouth existence. There's a lot of uncertainty in that, and that makes up this feeling, this grief, or several griefs, as David Kessler mentioned. I will leave a link in the description box if you want to read more about this. But he did advise that it's important to process these feelings. So the things that he recommended for you to process these feelings, I think it's something that any endurance athlete worth their salt will probably know, because it's coping strategies that we use when we're doing long distance races. For instance, his first suggestion is come into the present. A lot of times, when you're racing, your mind jumps towards the future, or jumps towards, oh my gosh, am I going to hit the wall? Oh my gosh, I shouldn't have eaten that. Your mind is jumping around, and you're not really focusing on what's at hand. And so if you come into the present, you're not thinking about the future potential catastrophe, but you're thinking about what can you do at this moment that can make a difference. So in a sport setting, I'm feeling like what should I do at this moment to make me not feel like one is hardened up, and then number 2 is, are you taking care of your nutrition? Number 3 is, are you breathing properly? Or number 4 is, you can dial down the effort, all those things, and you figure those things out when you come into the present. So that's applicable in this situation as well. Come into the present and see the things that you are currently capable of doing. I I'm here. I live with my parents. I can take care of them. I can, wash my hands. I can wear a mask to keep my community safe. Maybe I'm the carrier, so you want to do as much as you can to keep the contagion from spreading from you towards other people, that sort of thing. So that's number one, come into the present. Number two is to let go of what you can't control. And this one is kind of hard for me because I'm a very politically opinionated person, and past developments in the last few days have caused me so much stress. But here's the thing, I can say my piece. I can be part of the group of people that push hashtags online, and that moves the needle somewhat. That gets these authoritarians to back off their authoritarian track because they know people are watching. But at the same time, I can't go out into the fields to do healthcare because I'm not a doctor. I can't bring PPE to people because I'm not an essential services truck driver, delivery worker. So I have to let go of these things. Do something that will kind of contribute towards helping, but the other things that you can't control, you have to learn to let go of. So, once I've said my piece about things that are going on that should be improved, I stop and I just, back off, because you also have to help yourself stay sane. Number 3 is to be compassionate. I can't recall who said it on Twitter, but they said that there is this prevailing school of thought that in disaster situations, humanity is going to go into an every man for himself sort of attitude, and that causes the implosion of society, and peace and order spirals into chaos, etc., etc. And so, that's why we have to come down with these draconian measures to keep you people at home. And it's actually a myth, because when faced with disaster and when given reasonable rationales for coming together and acting together socially, responsibly, for each other's collective well-being, humans are actually quite social creatures, and things don't devolve into every man for themselves. You can see this happening in the civilian response to this COVID crisis. You see private citizens pouring their resources in. You see big companies like redirecting their logistic capabilities so that we can help in any way we can. And so, it's not every man for himself if you give people the logic behind acting together. And so, people are compassionate beings. You can see this happening. I saw this happening when I went to queue up for the grocery run. I am one of those quarantine tributes because both my parents are seniors, so they're not allowed, or it's not recommended that they go out to do the groceries themselves, so I had to do them throughout this period. And in the supermarket that I frequent, it's the largest supermarket in this city, and it services so many people. So I had to queue up for like 4 hours just to get inside the supermarket. And once inside the supermarket, there were things that were missing from the shelves, but all the basics were there. But still, it can be kind of frustrating trying to find chicken cubes and find out that people have busted open all the boxes and chicken cubes are now scattered all over. Even behind masks, you could see the smiles in their eyes. You can see people saying hello, good morning, excuse me, being very courteous to each other, because I guess everybody knows that we're all under stress and we have to be kind because everybody's fighting a hard battle. So that's my update from this part of the city. Guys, please stay safe. I pray you remain healthy through this time, and I will see you on the road again very soon. Bye.